Well, we're wanting to explain how to hook up to the trailer, and for anybody that's not got a lot of experience on trailers, tell you just exactly how we would go about hooking it up and make sure that everything is set up right so that you can have a better experience to pulling that. And so the first thing when you get to the trailer, it's going to be locked up. There's a hitch lock on it to help to deter theft on it, and there's a set of barrel keys that will work on the hitch locks. There's spare tire lock and another lock inside. And so you'll just unlock this ball hitch lock and drop that out. Then you're ready to back your truck up to the trailer. In your different hitches, you could see different, don't know what you're gonna have to pull it with, but the hitch on the trailer is adjustable, that you'll find tools in the trailer that could, if you need to adjust it so that the trailer will run level, then you can adjust this up or down. Hopefully we'll have it set up so that there won't be any need to do that. But if you have a different vehicle that's got a higher set hitch or a lower set hitch, then you probably would need to adjust that, and we'll show you how to go about that. This is a hitch that's just a straight out hitch. This one here has a rise in it. There's also dropper hitches, and depending on what height the truck is and what your hitch set up, then you'll have to compensate for that. It is a 2 5/16 ball, and that's critical to make sure that that's the type of connector you got, and that your receiver is set up so that it hooks up properly. You want to make sure that when you're backing that up to it, that especially if you've got help, is that you try to get the ball right, or the receiver or the hitch right over the ball. That's good. The trailer is heavy enough that it is pretty hard to move around by hand, and so you'll want to try to get that lined up as much as possible. It's got an electric winch or electric jack on it that raises and lowers the trailer tongue. The ball we have in here isn't the right size. We're just using this for demonstration purposes. But once you get the trailer, hooked up to your ball, you want to make sure that you drop the clasp down on it, and then that has a pin that will go into the hole that locks that pin into place and doesn't allow that to come back. My recommendation is that every time that you hook this up, is that you feel under by the ball and make sure that little coupling is surrounded by that ball. I have lost trailers off the truck, and it's way more excitement than you want to deal with. But making sure that fits down around the lower part of the ball, you want that to clasp around underneath here so that doesn't lift off your ball. And then this portion of the hitch locks that clasp into place so it doesn't allow that to come off the ball. Next, we're going to hook up the safety chains on it. I recommend that you cross the chains on your loops on your truck. And then the reason being is that if that would happen to come off your ball, that as those chains tighten up, hopefully it'll make a cradle that will carry that trailer so that it doesn't gouge into the pavement as you're pulling it. Don't want to be too dramatic about this, but this is very important that you have this hooked up properly so that you don't have any problems with that, because you're dealing with a lot of equipment, and that's a very stressful situation to get into. The last thing we're going to hook up is a battery backup safety brake, and that hooks to a switch under the hitch here. When that is pulled loose, that locks the brakes up on the trailer, so if it completely comes loose, comes off the chains, then that would lock that up rather than the trailer careening off into the other traffic or something on that order, that would stop the trailer in place and cause the least amount of damage. That's your basic hookup for the trailer. To just kind of go over quick, make sure you have this clasp in place by feeling underneath that to make sure that you can feel that little clasp up against the ball. Your safety chains are crossed, If they're a little bit long, you can twist those chains up a little bit to shorten them up. And then the safety brake, the electric safety brake is connected. And then the last thing we'll do is hook up the lights on it. If you'll notice on the plug, there's a notch on the top, and that goes to the top of the connector, and you slide that in. You'll feel that cap catch on to lock your connector in place, or your plug in place. You know, make sure that you have plenty of room on this, so when you turn, it doesn't pull the plug out of the receptacle there. And then you'll raise your jack all the way up. This jack also has an adjustable foot on it. Rather than having to jack that trailer all the way up, you can drop that foot and reduce the amount of time it takes to raise and lower the jack. And there's pinholes in the foot. You just line those up and snap that back in place. And then I recommend to raise the jack till it stops. There's also a light on the jack that if you're trying to hook up in dark, will allow you to see a little better. If your battery happens to be dead in the trailer, that will affect your jack. And you have one thing that you can do, you could plug the trailer into 110, and that will charge the battery and also supply juice through to your jack and be able to run it up. The other thing is that there is a hand crank in the trailer that can be used to raise and lower the jack through this hole or this port in the top, and you would just crank it up or down. There's a notch in that. The lock, you can put that inside the trailer, put that in the back of your pickup, someplace handy, but you don't want to leave it out on the hitch set. The next is we'll get into the trailer, and when you're setting this up, it's got stabilizer jacks on it and the front jack, and it's a lot nicer to work in an area that's leveled up, so we do have a little level that you can use to level the trailer, and then also the level can be worked on used on the simulator. I've got the level set in the door sill here, and as far as front to back, it looks like I should lower the front just a little bit. That looks pretty decent. I'll go just a little more. The trailer's going to be outfitted with these roll-up blocks, and as you can see, the farther you drive up on the block, the higher that it'll raise the wheel. And we're going to put that behind here. You can put it in the front or you can put it in the back, and we'll back the trailer up until we're level in the back. It's handy if you have another person that's available to tell you yes, it's level or no. And then once we back the trailer up on that, we'll put the chalk block in front of the tire to keep it from rolling off that. So I'll back this up now. And that's got it pretty level, so we'll go with that. Now then, the next thing we're going to do is we'll put the stabilizer jacks down. And I recommend that you use a wood block or some sort of a pad under those jacks. Otherwise, if the ground's a little bit soft, they'll have a tendency to sink into the ground without pushing up the trailer where you need it to. And these are mostly just keep the trailer from flopping around and moving around quite a bit as you're walking in and out of it. And then we'll put one on the other side. So with the little level that you've got, you need to check front and back. It's best if you have the trailer completely level. It's also good because it's a nice work surface after you run in and out of there several times. And so you just check north and south and east and west and try to get it as level as you can. And then we'll be ready to bring the table out.